Well, here we go, and apparently we've got a match.
Oh, he nailed him.
What a beautiful choke slam delivered to
Oh, picks him up by the throat, for heaven's sakes.
Very effective maneuver in this sport.
Wait a second. Oh, oh, right to the solar plexus. Almost dropped him right on his head. Oh, right to the eyes. Count of 1, 2. I do not believe it. A major upset.
They call me Joe Snyder. I've spent 45 years in the business. I started back in 1938 as an amateur wrestler in high school. And then I got into professional wrestling. And I don't know why I ever picked out wrestling of all the sports I picked out, where I wish I'd taken out and gone to golf. Now this is a picture when just when I first started professional wrestling. I suppose I was around 24, 25, maybe older. I had red whiskers that looked fake. The kids used to come and practice jerk my head off when they jerked the thing, grabbed hold of my whiskers and that. Then I used to have a big set of scissors that if anybody could beat me, I'd cut my whiskers off. People would grab me by the beard and throw me around the ring with my beard, and then that gave me an excuse so I could pull their hair and stuff. Then when I was with the carnivals, I spent with the carnivals 6 years. I practically played in every little town in Minnesota. Oh yes, I did 80,000, 90,000 miles a year. But as far as the wrestling, it was outsiders. We challenged outside people. I had a fellow, he looked awful skinny and full of bones, was Rough House Kelly. And the gimmick was always if you beat Rough House Kelly, then you had a chance to wrestle Joe the Texas Midget. And lots of people would say, well, he's not a midget. It was a gimmick. And why I used it, because I used to say, well, down in Texas, I'm a midget, and up here, I'm the biggest man in your town.
Well, I'm Sodbuster Kenny J, and I've been there Sodbuster for many, many years. I've been a professional wrestler for 30-some odd years. And I've also been in the landscaping business for a while, and now we're in the lawn maintenance. We ain't doing much laying sod no more, but I still carry the name. Well, actually, I started in Milwaukee, Wisconsin back in the early 60s. And I went to a school. It was a professional wrestling school. You had to learn how to fall, how to land on your feet instead of your back. Because if you land on your back, you know right away you're going to knock the wind out. Yeah, I went to the school for 3 months and came down to Minnesota, and I joined the carnival. And that was really rough, because there we took on all comers, and anybody could come up and challenge us, you know. So then it'd be farmers, you know, or anybody. They'd come up and they'd say, I want to take him on, and they'd point to me, you know. But I really got started that way, and some nights, you know, I made some big bucks. I always consider wrestling for myself as more as a hobby. I never wanted to do many matches because I never, you know, a lot of guys were sitting in their in gyms and working out, and, you know, and training, and I was laying sod. I don't know if you know it, but in '75, I took on Muhammad Ali. They flew me right into Chicago Amphitheater, and there he was. It was the most nerve-wracking part of my whole career in professional wrestling. But I lasted 2.5 rounds. He knocked me out, but I can say I was in there with Muhammad Ali, you know. I'd like to get him now.
My name is Ed Sharkey. I've been involved in professional wrestling for over 35 years. I go back into the 60s, the days of the Krusher and the Kamikoffs and Hardboiled Haggerty and all the great names of Bruiser. So I've been around a while. Wally Carver always said the toughest time in wrestling was the 60s. It was always out of control in the 60s. A week didn't go by when we didn't have a riot in one town or another. I mean, there's some bad. Denver was real bad. St. Paul was bad. I mean, some of the baddest in the world. I mean, there was people pulled guns on wrestlers, and of course we had our stabbings. In those days, when the villain would get caught in the ring, we had to run in and get this guy out. We used to form a V and go right through the crowd to get the Mad Dog or the Krusher, the heel, whoever it was, to get him out of the ring. We're in Denver. And again, I was a good guy standing there minding my own business, and Harley Race come out. And Harley Race and I were very, very close, very good friends. Some guy just grabbed him like in a death grip, and some girl was hitting with her shoe, hitting him with her shoe. So, you know, I ran. It was only a few feet away. I ran over and I kicked the guy in the head that was holding Harley. Didn't budge. So I said, we got to go, and we got to go quick, so I'm just going to pull this guy's eye out. So I stuck my finger just right, and it was the worst thing because I stuck my finger in an empty socket. Harley already pulled his eye out, and his eye was hanging on the side of his face. And that was just another, we couldn't go back to Denver for a couple of months, neither one of us, and we were laughing about it, you know, and the police were all throwing up, and that's another day's work, you know. And we thought that was normal. That's how strange we were, you know. And in this day and age, my God, they'd own your house and car and dog and everything. They see you. But back then, you know, that was just another day. We thought that was normal. You know, they say, well, what's your secret? I say, well, hit hard and talk fast. I guess that's, you know, you just had to be such a tough person in those days. You couldn't get no respect unless you were really tough. And I just had to fight my butt off.
My name is Stan Kowalski, Krusher Kowalski, sometimes known as Killer Kowalski, but in the end of my career, I was called the Big K. Started out in 1950 and I wrestled till 1976. I had 6,600 professional matches. I held 19 major titles in the world with partners like Tiny Mills, who I'm probably the best known with around here. Tiny he made me his partner. He was a main eventer. By me becoming his partner, I became a main eventer in Minneapolis. And from that day on, Stan Kowalski stayed the main event. Tiny and I had 10 years of the greatest wrestling in the world. We were all over the world. There wasn't any place we didn't go except for a few countries in Central Africa. And Tiny kind of looked like me. We had the long black hair and we both wore long black tights. He was 6'4" and I was 6'3". And there wasn't too many people out there could beat Mills and Kowalski. We were called Murder Incorporated because we walked through people like a massacre. It just, Tiny's been gone since 1986.
Oh, about 15 years ago I quit. I spent 45 years in it, and then when I changed my life around and gave it to the good Lord, I just couldn't keep on with wrestling. I could be wrestling to this day, I suppose. I just couldn't do it to the public anymore and sit and lie to the kids and the family and relatives and the general public. Everybody had to have a gimmick. If you had a good gimmick in wrestling, you could make it. But it had nothing to do with wrestling. But it was all phony stuff that they did. It was just something like that. Sleeper holds, claw holds, guys grabbing guys in the belly, guys grabbing claw holds around a guy's head. Who could put anybody down with by grabbing him around the head? Like Vern Gagne. Vern will jump up and down when he hears this. I've read in the paper where he's got this championship of that. Champion of what? Who did they ever beat in professional wrestling? It was all cooked and dried. You guys never beat anybody. And that's why I got out of the business. I couldn't stand all this lying, deceiving people to my own family and so forth like that. It got to be well, nonsense, really, it got to be. So when I changed my life around, gave it to the good Lord, all my problems ceased. I don't have no problems. Of course, I could use lots of money, but that's not here nor there, although I'd like to have it.
I guess it's in your blood, you know. I mean, when I first started out, you know, I didn't have no family or anybody that I had to worry about, people picking on or anything. You don't worry about nothing. You're young and you're vicious and you gotta like it, you know. The kicking and the gouging and the eye gouging, you know, and everything. And I loved it. I can still do it. I can still go 10, 15 minutes, you know, without blowing up and puffing too hard. I got arthritis, but I take my pills, and so I'm better. I'm even better right now than I was in the late '80s. Then I was so bad I had to be on crutches and everything, and now it's like in remission or something. I owe it a lot to the business I've been in, you know, landscaping and now with lawn maintenance. You know, I'm just used to hard work, you know. If you walk into a place where you're going to wrestle, you know, and people are screaming and hollering, you know, and cheering, then you know you're known, and it's such a great feeling, you know. They know me, and they come to watch me. I don't know how much longer I'm going to last, but I'm going to continue until I can't go no more, you know.
I quit in about '72, and then I went to work in a real tough bar, and there's a bunch of really big guys there, and they asked me if I would train them, and I said no, I don't want to get back in the wrestling business. You know, I've been in it long enough, and I want to stay out. So they went to Jesse Ventura, who I also trained, and they said, well, how can we get Ed to train us? And he said, that's very simple, just give him some money. I don't mean to brag or anything, but it said it's in the magazines and that I train more main event wrestlers than anyone in the world. Well, you go in a ring and you got to be a crowd psychologist. You got to handle that crowd. You'll have 10,000 people in the palm of your hand. They'll stand up when you want them to stand. They'll sit when you want them to sit. And then you got to be a good showman. You ask them, did he pull hair? Did he do that? Make them a part of it. And you'll see all the time the guys will ask the crowd, should I hit him? He hold his fist up at the crowd, and the crowd said, yay, hit him. And they'd then go to the other side and hold up your fist, and they'd, yeah, hit him. They all come up, and you can go all four sides of the ring. I mean, it's totally stupid. In a street fight, you never do that. The new guys, the new generations, always better than the old generation. It's that simple. Well, the old guys won't say that, but it's true. Every generation is better. Now that I'm older, I'm there for all the fun and all the good times, all the laughs, but I don't have to take the beating I used to take. No more fighting in the street. No more fighting. I'm too old for that anyway. Let the young guys do the fighting now. That's what they're there for.
Well, just to kind of give you people an insight in what Stan Krusher Kowalski, the Big K, really is. Spent 18 years on the school board in Spring Lake Park, 6 years on the state school board. I belong to such organizations as the Masonic Order, the Scottish Rite, the Shrine. I belong to the Lions Club. I'm the current commander of Fridley VFW Post 363. I also belong to the American Legion. You just about name it, I belong to it. Don't put wrestlers down like they do sometimes and say they're a bunch of D's, does, and dem guys. Most of us come out of college and we have a great respect for the human race. And my career as a wrestler has opened doors for me to places I never would have been able to get to if I hadn't have been Stan Krusher Kowalski. The life I've got was paid for by the life I had. I was never known as the crowd favorite. I never won a popularity contest in my life. All my fingers have been broke, and this nose never used to be this big. But 17 times of getting broke, it gets bigger. But I could take care of myself. Back in the old days, which were the better days, it wasn't the money, it was the competition, the fight. But it's a different style, it's a different era, it's a different time. Wrestling in the old days was wrestling. We were great wrestlers in the old days.
Well, here we go, and apparently we've got a match.
Oh, he nailed him.
What a beautiful choke slam delivered to
Oh, picks him up by the throat, for heaven's sakes.
Very effective maneuver in this sport.
Wait a second. Oh, oh, right to the solar plexus. Almost dropped him right on his head. Oh, right to the eyes. Count of 1, 2. I do not believe it. A major upset.